for being with us, and we are in the studio with some dynamic people. This is our exciting 6 o'clock hour once a month when we talk about Black male-female relationships. In the studio with us today are Elder Bernard Spates. How are you?
How are you doing tonight?
I'm good. And Pastor Chantell Ellis. How are you?
I'm great. And yourself? How are you?
I'm good. And Miss Courtney Wilkerson. How are you, Miss Wilkerson?
I'm great. How are you?
I'm good. We also have in the studio with us Brother Kevin, Sheaff, and
hello,
cameraman Brother Martin. How are you both?
Hello, everyone.
If we as a people just receive a teaching on love and hate, understanding those that hate need a teaching on love, and those that love need to begin to spread it, but spread it in a way where it's gracious. You know, and I think that's where the foundation starts. And I really appreciate the message that you did bring. I did see most of the clip that you spoke on. Very powerful. Very, very powerful. And it is something that we must build upon even today in our communities. We must take this information back to our communities and begin to share it with our neighbors. We hold too much inside. You know, my father teaches me, he says, son, you want to die empty. You know, you don't want to have all the wisdom and all the knowledge on the inside of you for yourself. You want to make sure that you share it with others, that others may be blessed as well.
As Brother Kevin stated earlier in reference to the message that he heard by the minister Muhammad, the fact that we destroy ourselves. So the question is, how do we get to a place where we are unified, where you understand that the men are men and that the women are women? Not just that, the fact that the family in itself, there was something interesting as well that was noted, or rather important, in reference to the bond of matrimony, that it's holy, and that it's between a man and a woman, and that when we forget about what God has instituted, and when we forget just the principles that we are taught in terms of the family structure, what happens is there is no structure. And then, remember, every man will do what is right in his own eyes. And so when we kill each other, we're killing ourselves, we're demoralizing ourselves, we're doing all of these things to ourselves. And so it's getting to a place where we can begin to walk unified. You understand? As a people. As my sister said, how do we get there? And of course, you know, you have men and women in our communities. There are some men and women in our communities and even in our families who desire to see this generation and the generations that are even behind us excel and come out of this pit that we seem to be living in. I think what is going to happen is, and it's true, you know, that it takes a village to raise a child. It takes a village to raise a people. And there was something that I experienced last year while in Uganda. In spite of the way that people were living their conditions, they were united. There was brotherhood. There was sisterhood. You understand? They were taking care of children who were not their children. They were raising them. Parents had passed away. And I believe what needs to happen is that even, you know, is raising up men and women who are willing to sacrifice their time, their talent, even their money, to go into schools, to begin to grab up these young sons and daughters right now who may not have fathers because of the breakdown of the family, but taking on that responsibility that say, well, maybe I didn't biologically, you know, birth this child, but I see these children as my own, and I'm going to sow into their lives. I'm going to
jump in here and piggyback on something that Prophet Chantell mentioned when she went to Uganda. Right? Mm-hmm. See, there's a culture that the Ugandans have. They speak their own language. They have cultural mores. There's a sense of family. The men there are going to work. They're going to be providers. The women have their roles. All right. But now let's look at us as a people. And I think Minister Ishmael, I think you would agree with this. the brothers, a lot of men here, one, some of them can't find a job. Two, some of them, if they found a job, they're underemployed. So therefore, many of our brothers they go into the illegal job market. They get their hustle game on. They got their pants hanging off their behinds. So, so the question is, how does someone like that, a brother like that's his image is, Jay-Z. His image are the rappers. His image is 50 Cent, shooting up the place, having illicit sex with every woman that walks down the street. That's a sign of their manhood, is their sexual organ. A brother like that's not interested in a relationship. He's not interested in committing. And unfortunately, our sisters have settled for that kind of thing. So therefore, you have all these African American families being run by a single black female. That is not God's design. One of the things that happened, and I think Elder Bernard touched on this, is that you have a generation that is very godless. They're not thinking about God. They're thinking about their hustle game. The sisters now have even beaten their brothers at the hustle game. Okay? So that's a problem, where in Uganda, they do have a cultural glue that binds them.